Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. George Soros, a left-wing billionaire, has been looming in the shadows of American politics for decades. And he has been engaging in color revolutions around the globe, spreading upheaval and attempting to capitalize on the chaos that he has been deliberately causing in nations around the world. Well, President Donald Trump just blew the lid off of one of Soros's most sinister plots. That's right, he has notified the FBI of an operation that George Soros has been engaging in that has been putting Americans and law enforcement at risk. And we're going to get into this story, but please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Well, George Soros has been a controversial figure for decades, and he has been really a thorn in the side of Americans who support civil liberties and the rule of law. He has been funding radical organizations for decades through the Open Society Foundation and other Soros foundations, and has been laundering that money through super funds and foundations, whether it be the Carnegie Foundation or the Tides Foundation. And they have been really at the center of many suspect activities, including incitement of riots in our cities. And they have backed up Black Lives Matter, for example, that did $1 billion in damage and led to over 20 people's deaths. And they're currently under investigation for fraud and money laundering and a lot of other activities. So the radical left has operated much like a criminal enterprise for decades, and the kingpin of this criminal enterprise, one could say, is George Soros. And Donald Trump, well, he wants to slap Soros with potential RICO charges. That's racketeering. And the reason for that is that Soros has been found to be funding Antifa, which has been designated a domestic terror organization, and anti-ICE protests, which have led to violence in some cases, such as in Chicago and Portland. And thus, this can be considered racketeering. Let's hear what President Trump had to say about this blockbuster development.
They're paid people. This is organized. They're committing acts of political terrorism on American soil. And it's time we had a government that looked out for the American people rather than the people who are committing violence against the American people.
When you go out to Portland and you see what's happening in Portland, this is like nobody's ever seen anything like it every night. And this has gone on for years. They just burned the place down. And, you know, the shop owners, most of them have left. But the few shops that are open, they just use plywood and just like 3/4-inch plywood. They don't put storefronts in because they know it's going to be burned down. These are professional agitators.
That's right.
These are bad people, and they're paid a lot of money by rich people, some of whom we know. I'm sure I know some. I don't. If I knew, I wouldn't associate because I'll be in trouble because Pam will say, "Why are you associating with this person?" But I will tell you that these are bad people, and they're paying a lot of money, millions of dollars. But take a look at Portland sometime. These are crazy people, and they're trying to burn down buildings, including federal buildings. And on my list of things that I want to do before we finish up with the cities, because I think we're going to whip the cities back into shape, and we have to. We cannot let our cities, and that's a small example, but it's the most violent example. It's every night, and they've done it for years. You'd think maybe at some point they made their point, and what are they doing? But we're going to get out there, and we're going to do a pretty big number of those people in Portland that are doing that. They're professional agitators and anarchists. They're actually anarchists, yeah. Go ahead. Why don't you defend? Let's see you defend them, Jeff.
No, I'm not defending anyone. I just want, so that we can just explain this in our stories. Can you name a couple?
You don't explain it right, though, Jeff. Go ahead. Let's go. Maybe let's give you another chance. Go ahead.
Antifa, Soros. What names are we talking about?
Well, Soros is a name certainly that I keep hearing. I don't know, but Soros is a name that I hear. I hear a lot of different names. I hear names of some pretty rich people that are radical left people. Maybe I hear about a guy named Reid Hoffman. Somebody's a pretty rich guy, I guess, and I hear about him. I don't know. Maybe could be him. Could be a lot of people. We hear the same names. but they're bad, and we're going to find out. And if they are funding these things, they're going to have some problems because they're agitators and they're anarchists.
What do you think about what Trump had to say? Should Soros be hit with RICO charges? Of course, everyone is innocent until guilty in a court of law, and that's according to a jury of that person's peers. But that being said, it certainly looks at face value like Soros is at the heart of a criminal enterprise to incite violence against ICE operations. And we all know why that is the Democratic Party. They see illegal aliens as the future of their electorate because, well, they've betrayed the American people and they have caused a lot of damage to our country. Just take a look at any blue state or any blue city. They are in shambles or at least a shadow of their former selves. So weigh in with your comments. What do you think should happen to Soros? I really hope to see something come out of this and there is finally accountability for someone who has wreaked so much havoc in nations around the world. And thank you for watching Explain America.